out this morning. The sun has risen. We are heading to Patoka Lake. There it is, Patoka Lake. Oh yeah. And on my way to Patoka Lake this morning. I got a question for you out there. All you fishermen that head out like this, what time do you usually try to leave and get out on the lake? I find, benefits on leaving really early, like 4 a.m. There's not a lot of traffic. You're usually the first one out on the water. So the water's undisturbed. Of course, if it's a big lake like Patoka, that really doesn't matter. But it's kind of nice getting out there before anybody else does and you get all your stuff set up. And there's always a chance you'll catch one of them big bass first thing in the morning. But the problem with that, though, is you do have, it's 4 a.m. in the morning running an interstate. Even though there's less traffic, man, it's sometimes scary because I think a lot of people are just on the verge of falling asleep, at about 4 or 5 a.m. They've been driving all night. Man, I've had some close calls. People's kind of went pretty close to me where I had to get off on the emergency lane just a little bit so they wouldn't clip the front of my bumper. I don't know. I'm not really worried about getting out there a little bit later, rather than 6 a.m., get out there at 8 a.m. because I haven't found that you don't catch any more fish. You don't necessarily catch any more fish at 6 a.m. than you do at 8 a.m. Yeah, interested in fishing some riprap today, some rock area, see how that goes. So glad you came along. I find it very interesting to go through the seasons with the fishing boat, with the 1980 Selvin fishing boat. I started out sometime in early May bringing it here to Patoka Lake. All fishermen, serious fishermen out here, that's all you saw. All the pleasure boaters weren't out yet. Then you get into close to Memorial Day, and here they all come. A lot of pleasure boats out there on the lake. It gets very, very busy out here, boat traffic wise. Now it is getting into mid to late September, and most of your pleasure boats are now gone. I guess I understand that. People don't want to come out unless it's really hot. I can tell there's an intense excitement with the fishermen now because the lake is back to being theirs again, and it's pretty nice being out here. Now, a lot of these trucks that are here and stuff, I think, are people that are that actually store boats and take care of boats and mechanics and stuff like that. They're pulling the boat out of the water for a lot of clients and going to store them for them. Yeah, what a big difference coming on a day like today, which is a Tuesday in September, compared to when I was here last time with the doggies on Labor Day. Wow, what a zoo. Of course, people are out having fun. That's a good thing. Good thing to support your local parks, your local recreation areas. Personally, I like this. This is nice and quiet and peaceful. It'll feel like I have the whole lake to myself. Hey, I do have a question for you. How many people go out there by themselves? How many people do solo trips? Do you solo trip camping, hiking, boating, fishing? What do you do? Just kind of interested. I do a lot of solo trips, and I just was it just seems natural to me, but then I talk to people and they say they don't do any at all. So let me know in the comments. Do you solo? All right, feels good to be back out on Patoka Lake. I think I'm going to throw out here. There's a point right here to the right when you come out of the marina right here. It's a rocky point that comes out. And I'm going to pull over there and set an anchor in, kind of get the Selvin all situated. Salina Lake, Indian Lake, where I've been fishing a lot, the bottom is pretty muddy and pretty grassy. So I'm looking forward to try to fish some rocky bottoms right here. Rocky Bottom boys. Hey, it's always a good day when you're going fishing. Alright, I found me a nice little rock cove right here. Actually, it's a rock point that kind of comes out. And what I'm going to do is I like pulling up to places like this, then kind of just getting my selvin all situated, put everything where I want it so it's not in my way. And also I think it kind of settles it down a little bit. I use my trolling motor to come on in here, but still I just want it to just be real quiet and let everything kind of settle down. And then once I get everything set up, I still got to set my other camera up over here. As soon as I get everything set up, at that point right there, I'll go ahead and throw a line. It's kind of nice being on a lake that doesn't have a lot of weeds. You know, that's the thing about Salina Lake. Boy, I tell you what, it's challenging. Especially if you get some wind conditions and a trolling motor, and it's always wanting you to take you out and blow you into the weeds, and you know it's a lot of struggle. Here I don't have to worry about that. I just have to worry about I got to be careful when I fire up the big Chrysler that I don't run into a stump, something like that. But besides that, the weeds aren't really a problem here at Patoka Lake at all. Gonna go ahead and get my dash cam set up. I think I'd like to change my battery system one of these days, where I almost have a battery just to run things like these auxiliaries and chargers and things like that, so I don't take voltage away from the battery that starts up the engines and runs the depth finders and all that. I think when you get everything going, I think it's a pretty good draw on all of it. Well, it's a typical fall day whenever the temps are really cool in the morning, and yet here it is probably about 9 o'clock in the morning, and it's already getting warm enough where I had to break out the shorts, break out the t-shirt. It's going to get that warm. Now, I think this is also when a lot of people make mistakes about sunscreen, because they think, well, it's not really all that hot out here. I really don't need the sunscreen. Yes, you do. Yeah. 30 SPF, doesn't matter what brand. Just make sure you put a lot of it on. Make sure you keep your skin covered up. Make sure you keep your skin coated so the sun doesn't get in there and bake you to pieces and cause you a lot of problems down the road. There we go. That ought to be a pretty good coat. I may recoat, you know, sometime this afternoon. Maybe not. All depends. Maybe some cloud cover moving in. Keep in mind, though, even with cloud cover, keep that spray on. Very, very important. Yeah, the wind has picked up probably about 10 miles an hour since I've been sitting here getting everything ready to go. All right, it's a good day when you catch a fish in the morning right off the bat. Come here, buddy. Woohoo! That's a nice fish right there. That is a nice, nice fish. All right, so there you go. How's that for a fish? That's a nice sized fish right there. Boy, I tell you what, he's heavy. That's a heavy, heavy fish right there. Wow. That's pretty amazing how heavy this fish is. Dang. Wow. Okay, he's been eating good. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. There we go. Fishing Patoka Lake. All right. There we go. Fishing Patoka Lake. Woo, heavy, heavy fish. Thank you, buddy. Hey, you might not have cut out the calories a little bit there, huh? You're all right. See you later. Goodbye. Wow, big fish. All right, See, I guess why I like catching a fish first thing in the morning, because now I didn't get skunked. I caught a pretty big fish. I'm happy. If I don't catch another one today, I'll be all right. Hey, glad you came along. Let's catch some more. Wow. You know, it's kind of funny. I just caught that fish, and I mean less than like 5 minutes after I caught it, there was a boat on the other side of the lake, and he come cruising over here. So it might be just a coincidence, I don't know. But they say people will watch you, and if you make a lot of noise when you catch a fish, scooting over to you, wanting any action. There's several reasons why I just caught that nice sized bass right there. Number one is I'm fishing a point. I'm going to refer to Randy Blockett's YouTube page, Intuitive Angling, quite a bit, because that is who is teaching me to go after these big bass. I mean, I'm out bass hunting today. There was a guy putting a boat in the same time I was this morning. Very nice fellow. Him and I guess his wife was out, and he asked me, he said, "What are you going after today?" And I said, "I'm going after a big bass." I said, "What about you?" He says, "I'm going after crappie today. If not crappie, maybe catfish." But, you know, I mean, so I'm out here bass hunting. That's what I'm doing. I'm not interested in catching crappie, bluegill, or anything else like that. I'm after the big bass. And the reason I caught that one is, number one, I'm working a point. See that rocky point going off right there? And I caught him somewhere right in front of the selvin, right out that way right there. So, once again, rocky point. Randy talks about. That's what you want to point. That's what you want to fish, especially now getting into the fall and stuff. These rocky points, and you go out, you just telecast all the way out in front of them, because a lot of fish will gather out on these rocky points right there. So that's number one. That's why I caught that fish, because I'm in the right location. Number two, I was using the right rig. I only use a number one hook. A number one. It's a good hook. It's a very good hook, but it's only a number one hook. Now, a lot of people will use number twos and number threes, but what I find is that with this little number one right here, boy, I tell you what, there's not a lot of hook there for them to miss, and when they get into it, it hooks them pretty good. So I'm pretty happy with this little number one, and I'm using this little bullet weight right here. Now, the one thing, if you noticed, which you probably if you're really wanting to learn to do this, you're saying, "Hey, Mr. Lawrence, how come you didn't show us how you tied that on?" Well, for the main reason that I don't know, I'm not good at tying yet, and I believe this is what I'm tying is a uni knot. I think it's a uni knot, but. Want to know how to tie this, go to Intuitive Angling, Randy Blockett, and just say how to tie fluorocarbon, and he'll show you how to tie it. He's got a very good video on how to tie it, because I think I'm getting the gist of it. But you know, the other day, it's so weird. The other day I was practicing in my driveway, just flipping and doing some things, and I put a washer on there, and like on the first cast, I threw it out there, started reeling in, the washer just came off. And I was like, holy cow. And I thought I had it tied. You don't do it right, you can have a real problem real quick. Yeah, because apparently if you don't tie the right knot with fluorocarbon, when you put it under extreme pressure, like catching a big fish, the line can actually break, I guess, or get in such a bind, it'll just like break off. But here's what I do now. I learned this trick from Roland Martin. Roland Martin has videos out on YouTube. That's a very popular channel. And he was saying what he does is, especially tournament days and stuff, when he ties something off like that, he'll take a little bit of super glue, like I've got a little crazy glue here, and he goes in there and he just puts a little drop on it. Don't take much, just a little drop. That right there, and he said that way there, a knot will never come undone for him, and he never has to worry about that. And you can imagine being in a tournament, having some big money on the line, and something fails with your knot or something. That would be disappointing, to say the least. At this point here, I go ahead and take the creature, and I run him on up. Run him on up in there. There you go, buddy. Get on up that's another thing I'm very careful with out on the water is watching that you don't get one of these hooks in you. I can see something going on and you're being a little careless and run a hook, man. You could, boy, these hooks are so sharp. Instead of running this hook through the middle of him and it coming out his back, I'm just hooking it right here in the side, just enough to just barely hide the barb inside there. So it's kind of an offset deal like this right here. Since I started doing that at Salina Lake, I learned that from Randy. He was talking about that on wacky worms and stuff like that, and Texas rig. You know, instead of rigging it where they've got all that rubber to bite through, all that plastic to bite through. This way here, it'll get them. As soon as they bite it, boy, that hook comes loose and it comes in there. There's a setup right there, all ready to go. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it out there again and see if I can't catch another one of these big bass. You know, fishing's a secretive sport. Everybody's so secret about what they use and where they go and all that. But my purpose is to not only show you the beauty of Patoka Lake like today and the filming I'm going to do, but also the things that I'm learning. And I want to give Randy credit and I want to give Roland credit because they're the ones that are teaching me and I'm passing it on to you. There's the rocky point. Okay, I've had it idling for probably about 15 minutes now. It is warmed up, ready to go. Gonna go ahead and take a little drive around. I'll show you how she runs. Pretty strong engine for sure. I'm impressed with it. I just need to go 4-stroke myself. I don't like mixing the gas and the oil. I don't like messing with stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get me a 4-stroke, but this one's gonna be for sale in case you're interested. Okay, rolling out with the Chrysler. Idle's really good. You know, maybe the idle doesn't need to be brought up. Maybe I just need to warm it up more. I don't know. But we're going to get out here on the lake. When I get to the good area, I'm going to go ahead and I'll go ahead and open her up for you. Let you see how good it runs. It really does run good. Okay, you can see at this speed right here, it cruises along really well. Absolutely no problem. Here in just a little bit, we'll open it up a little bit more. Sounds very, very strong. Okay, lake's pretty rough out here today. Quite a bit of wind, but I'm going to go ahead and open her up and just let you see what the Chrysler will do here. Drifting, I think his top, there's so much wind, his top was drifting me a little bit right there. Had to shut her down. Let's open her up a little bit more again. One more time. Okay, that's about all I want to do with it. I mean, if you know outboard boaters, you know how powerful this engine is right here. And quite honestly, you know, being new at boating, It's so powerful, it's almost scary, I think. I had no idea these big Chryslers this powerful. But it is one powerful machine. All right, there you go. A little bit warm today, but I tell you what, with this breeze, it is so nice out here. Just like the perfect day. And now another thing that I've learned about fishing, windy days. Almost nobody likes to fish on windy days unless you know wind creates camouflage, and the fish, it's harder for the fish to detect that you're up above trying to catch them. So once you think about that, that's a pretty good deal there. Last of the pleasure cruisers. The last of the pleasure cruisers. Yep. Season's about over for boating, but not fishing. Yeah, I had to get that boat going by. And just almost, it's all fishermen. A few pontoons out here. Okay, so there you go. There's the big Chrysler for you. She runs good, fast. You know, the previous owner told me 38 miles an hour. I bet it does every bit of that, if not more. I'm going to fish this point coming up right here. Looks like a nice little... I think I am going to call it quits for the day here at Patoka Lake. Head over to the Hoosier National Forest, Indian Salina Lake Recreational Area, and go camping. Anyways, just caught the one fish. Of course, that was a big fish, heavy fish, probably my personal record, probably pretty close to that size right there. Anyways, I was pretty happy with that. So, like for instance, tomorrow at Salina Lake, I'm going to go ahead and fish Salina Lake tomorrow. I can go ahead and, if that battery wears out, I can hook into this one. But for some reason, my Humminbird, both of them, especially the big one, starts throwing a warning, low voltage, and then it goes out, won't turn back on, and then I can have the little one up front, and after a while it went out. Well, that's not good here at Patoka Lake. There's too much stuff in the water. There's too many things that, especially with the water level being really low like this, you know, that you could really hit and run into. You know, I saw a video on YouTube the other day, a guy's cruising in his bass boat and freaking hit a big old stump and just blew out the whole back of his boat. His boat went into a tailspin. Man, that's bad. That's serious stuff right there. First thing I'm going to do is get this battery tested, see if it's any good. I put it on a charger for about 12 hours. I thought it'd be good to go, but you know, once a battery's bad, it's bad. There's nothing you can do about it. Head over to North Face Campground, set up camp, enjoy a nice evening. Should be nice and cool, about 60 degrees. And then tomorrow, get up, fish Salina Lake, and see how it goes from there. Hey, I appreciate you coming along. One fish in the boat, that's it. But boy, it was a big old fish. I still want to know if you have any comments. Tell me why that fish was so heavy. Heavy. Twice as heavy as the other fish I caught, the same length. It was just a massive, strong fish. I don't know, kind of weird. Was a pretty good day at Patoka Lake. Was finishing up there, loading everything, getting it ready for traveling over to Indian Lake, Salina Lake recreational area. There's a couple that pulled up this morning. They were launching the same time I launched, and then they were taken out at the same time. And so got to talking to them. They're from the Selvin area. Very nice folk. I really appreciate talking to them. First or second year being out with their boat, so they're just kind of like me, kind of learning everything as they go. It sounded like they like to camp and stuff, so I was telling them about Indian Salina Lake. It's a great place to go. Trolling motor only, but that's okay. Hey, you kind of get used to that, and it's kind of like a simpler life. They both really like Patoka Lake. They said it was wonderful. Fish wasn't biting real good today, but you know what? Next time they come by, hey, they may just fill the whole boat full. Who knows? Just outdoor community, period, are nice folks. Nice folks to get along with. They all love the wildlife, and they're all, you know, conservationists as far as trying to, you know, our fish population, deer population, everything, you know, sustain it so we continue on and pass it on from generation to generation. That's pretty cool. On my way to Salina Lake. Made it back to the Hoosier National Forest, Indian Salina Lake recreational area. Camped here at the North Face Campground, one of my favorite places to camp in America. Pretty quiet tonight. I don't even know if there's anybody here. I think maybe I saw a camper over here, but it's pretty quiet out here. If you get a chance and you want some privacy and some quiet, come on out to the Hoosier National Forest, North Face Campground, South Slope Campground. Camp out. Nice, quiet, peaceful. You'll really enjoy it. At Patoka Lake today, I noticed on the shoreline, I saw some reds, some yellows starting to show up. Fall is coming. Fall comes fast and goes fast, so don't wait. Get your plans together, get your camper hooked up, get your tent packed up, get on out here. This is the time to camp. Right. I got so busy chasing those big bass today, I didn't even get a chance to eat. Had a little snack about midway through the day, but kind of hungry. Now that I've got the gazelle all set up, ready to go, I think I'm going to get me something to eat, kind of get everything ready. Going to go fish Salina Lake tomorrow morning and then get a good night's sleep. Hey, That's what the forest is for, and I bet you anything that barred owl will be up here talking to me tonight. He may have a nest up here, because I thought I heard a baby here one time. He probably thinks, hey, did anybody invite you here to the woods? I guess I'm invading his property. That's pretty amazing how heavy this fish is. Dang. Wow. Okay, he's been eating good. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. There we go. Fishing Patoka Lake.